Chapter 71. One-sided love will be punished. You are listening at novelfull.audio. General Shao was following the crown princess to the royal kitchen. Your Highness, why did you not let the food get tasted by the maid in front of the food inspector? General Shao confusedly asked the crown princess. Because I tasted it myself. Nothing happened to me, Ying Lily replied. I was annoyed at him for making me cook the custard for everyone. I then realized he was adamant about eating custard made by me, as if he knew that something was wrong with the custard that was served to him earlier. So, I made sure not to let anyone get a taste of it and checked it myself, Ying Lily affirmed. Your Highness, it means the custard was changed right after you came to the Grand Hall. Do you remember where you left the bowl? The time you left its site was the time when it was poisoned, Xiao Zhan opined. Ying Lily halted at her place and closed her eyes. She recalled every single moment when she was preparing the custard. After a while, she opened her eyes. I never left its site. I made sure not to let it get touched by the others. Then where did I make the mistake? Ying Lily thought. Your Highness, did you carry the tray all by yourself till the Grand Hall, or did you ask any maid to do that for you? General Shao questioned the crown princess. I did not let anyone grab that tray, except there was one moment when I had to do so. The maids who served the custards to the others in the Grand Hall were confused. So, I handed the tray to one maidservant, Ying Lily proclaimed. But that was only for a few seconds, Ying Lily further added. That's when the poison was added. Even those few seconds were enough to add the poison to it. I will summon all the maidservants for the interrogation. We do not know how many people are involved in this poisoning matter of the crown prince, asserted Xiao Zhan. The prime minister is the one who did all this. The way he was accusing me was truly showing his desperation to punish me. I had never thought that for power, people could get mad and approach the evilest ways. I wonder how Xingli survived here. Ying Lily was anxious. Xingli had warned her many times, but she never paid heed to his warnings. Han Yanzu and Lei Wanshi came to them. Sister Lily, we heard you are accused of poisoning and have till tomorrow morning to prove yourself, Lei Wanshi worriedly spoke. Ying Lily nodded. The first and second princes are involved in this. They were scheming about it, Lei Wanshi stated in a fit of rage. How can Brother Wanshi be so sure? I am suspecting the Prime Minister because of the way he summoned every single witness against me is skeptical, Ying Lily declared and frowned. Let's think about this later. First, we have to inquire about the maidservants because someone among them poisoned the crown prince, General Shao suggested to them. Jian Guizhi could be seen in a chamber with Yongzheng and Rong Zemin. Did you poison Xingli? Jian Guizhi queried Yongzheng. What are you saying, elder brother? The poison-filled custard dish was already served to Xingli, but then he expressed his desire to eat custard made by his wife. Do you think I can do such a thing in that short a time? Yongzheng questioned the first prince. I think it is your consort. She had started accusing the crown princess the moment it was asked who could poison the crown prince. Rong Zemin skeptically answered. Shuiyu Yan does not have the capability to do this in such a short time. It seems the person who did this was being way ahead in making and executing the plans cleanly. I want Xingli to die, but I do not want anything to happen to Inger. I had my eyes on her even when Xingli did not know her. But father did the reverse and made them marry, Jian Guizhi muttered under his breath. The anger and hatred in him towards the crown prince were visible on his face. Your Highness, there is an important message, Eunuch Lu Hong announced in a loud enough voice. Come in, Jian Guizhi permitted him. Eunuch Lu bowed his head. Respected first prince, the crown princess had asked for the poison from her uncle. They plotted together to kill the crown prince, Eunuch Lu informed them. What are you saying? Jian Guizhi was bewildered. Yes, first prince. But, the crown princess is refuting the charges against her. His Majesty has given a chance to the crown princess till the morning to show her innocence. If she cannot do that, then she will be uncrowned and further punishment will be decided later. According to the crown prince's state, eunuch Lu recounted the entire incident to the three princes. Who showed the evidence against the crown princess? Jian Guizhi was curious to know. The prime minister, replied eunuch Lu. Everything was now crystal clear for Jian Guizhi. The first prince told Lu Hong to leave and told his brothers to go to their respective rooms as he wanted to take a rest. They nodded and left from there. Once they left, Jian Guizhi went to Shuiyu Yan's chamber. Your Highness is here, Shuiyu, Yan heard. In a few minutes, Jian Guizhi came in. Shuiyu, Yan immediately stood up from the bed and bowed her head. Did you plan all this with your father? Why did you scheme against Inger? I warned you not to do anything to Inger, didn't I? Jian Guizhi shouted at her. I did nothing. You have a misunderstanding here. Shuiyu, Yan cleared herself and turned to sit on the bed when Jian Guizhi gripped her arm and pulled her towards him. Your father was showing evidence against Inger. What do you think about this? Aren't you the one who is jealous of Inger? Jian Guizhi questioned her. Father is always steps ahead of everyone. Good to know that your one-sided love will be punished soon for her crime, Shuiyu. Yan proclaimed and pulled her arm away from Jian Guizhi's hand. Hello dear readers. Is Xingli acting, and if not, how will he get cured? Will Lily be able to save herself? There are many doubts rising in your minds. Stay tuned to the story to know more. On May 20th, I have decided to do a mass release. Thank you. Happy reading. Chapter 72. Xingli's heart will soften. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The Empress could be seen with the Prime Minister in her private room. The Prime Minister was sitting on a cushion almost 3 meters away from the Empress. The Crown Princess has been granted the permission to prove herself innocent, Wei Zhongyong asserted. Wen Wei smiled as she lifted her eyes from the mirror, which was placed on the ground table, placed in front of her. Make sure that the Crown Princess cannot gather any evidence in her favor. Kill the maidservant who had mixed the poison in the custard, the Empress ordered, and picked the white porcelain cup to drink the rose tea. She took the scent of the tea first before sipping it. I had already done that, Your Majesty, Wei Zhongyong proclaimed as he lowered his head. What about the King of Juyan? Are you planning to kill him as well? Wen Wei asked. Wei Zhongyong looked into the eyes of Empress Wei. He is being given the punishment for now. As per the promise, he should be safely sent out to Juyan, Wei Zhongyong asserted, and then a smirk formed on his lips, but I think he is not trustworthy. He betrayed his own family, so, better to kill him. I will make sure that he will not open his mouth till the end. Empress Wei gave a nod to the Prime Minister. But, Your Majesty, how did you come up with such a plan? The Prime Minister looked for an answer. Xingli is not a kid anymore. He knew that someone would try to harm him. Prince Jian had made the plan to poison him, but, as I expected, Xingli saw through that. I had to make a backup plan. By the coincidence, Xingli told the Crown Princess to make custard for him. That is when I only gestured my loyal servant to execute the plan. If he would not have told his desire to eat the handmade custard by the Crown Princess, then I would have. I wanted to turn the Crown Princess on our side, that's why I ordered to kill her father as well to create misunderstandings between the two. But I did not expect that Xingli's heart will soften for the Crown Princess. Xingli will die because the one who knows the antidote of the poison is already dead. Empress Wei grinned as she sipped the rose tea and then again looked into the mirror. The Prime Minister also grinned and raised the cup. Congratulations, my dear sister, this time your son will become the Crown Prince. We are not related by blood, but you have got the brain like me, Wei Zhongyong proclaimed and sipped the drink. This is the last time you are calling me sister. I have not forgotten how your mother killed my mother. But, because you helped me reach here, so, I trust you, Empress Wei pronounced. Apologies, Your Majesty, Wei Zhongyong lowered his eyes. Emperor is not allowing anyone to go inside Xing Li's resting chamber. I want to see the pain on his face. I still remember the words of his mother, Wen Wei outrageously spoke. You will get the punishment of your crimes. Empress Wei recalled the words of the former empress. This made her so furious that she killed her by strangulating her. That witch and her son. Wen Wei muttered under her breath as she gripped the cup tightly. Your Majesty, Xing Li will not escape the death this time. I have heard about this poison. Even if he is consuming the poison since his childhood days, there will be no use for that. Only the antidote is its cure, which is no longer available, Wei Zhangyong stated and smiled. Wen Wei agreed with the Prime Minister. General Xiao summoned the maidservants who had come to the Grand Hall to serve the custard. Ying Lili looked at all of them and checked for that maidservant whom she handed the tray. But, to her surprise, that maid was not there. Seeing the baffled expressions on the crown princess's face, Nianzhu asked her if she was all right. Brother, that maidservant is not here. Ying Lili replied to Nianzhu. Sister Lily, try recalling, Lei Wanqi encouraged her. Your Highness, they were the only ones who served and checked the check daily, asserted Xiao Zhan. I remember her face. She is not here. Ying Lili was panicked. Lei Wanqi looked at Xiao Zhan. What if she is killed already by the one who ordered her to feed the poison? Lei Wanqi opined. Xiao Zhan clenched his fist. Has anyone seen the maidservant who was with the crown princess when she was coming to the Grand Hall? Xiao Zhan questioned. Just tell us the truth, else you all will be thrown to prison, Xiao Zhan threatened them. Your Highness, I had seen her. She left for her home for a few weeks as her brother is sick, one maidservant spoke. When did she leave? Ying Lili queried. Your Highness, right after we all came out of the Grand Hall, the maidservant answered softly. What is her name? Nianzhu asked. Her name is Jai, the maidservant replied. Xiao Zhan told Commander Tao to search about Jai. Bring her here as soon as you will find her, Xiao Zhan announced. Tao Zedong bowed his head and left with some soldiers from there. You all may leave, Xiao Zhan told the maidservants. He turned to the crown princess who was troubled. Your Highness, someone went secretly to your resting chamber as well to put the poison there. Let's search about that as well, Xiao Zhan stated. Jian Guizhi came there, I am looking into that, General Xiao. They all were surprised to hear his statement. Do not worry, Your Highness. I will find the culprit. General Xiao, there is something you have to do in this period. The king of Juyan is lying, so you shall interrogate him and ask him about the name of the person who ordered him to do that, Jian Guizhi asserted. Lei Wanqi was confused. Since when the first brother started caring for the crown prince? Lei Wanqi questioned. They all looked at him. I do care for him. If I had not cared for him, then I would not have been here, desperate to help the crown princess. Before the morning, the real culprit will be in front of us, Jian Guizhi announced in an encouraging tone. Never trust the first prince. Ying Lili recalled the words of Xing Li. Elder first brother, thank you for the help, but I will find the culprit myself. I refuse to take your help, Ying Lili asserted as she lowered her eyes. Do not take it the other way, but I do not want anyone to get a wrong idea about us. I have not done anything wrong, so I will not be punished, Ying Lili further added. Forgive me, Your Highness, but I cannot involve the princes in the investigation. Even the fourth and sixth prince is going to leave. I hope you will understand, Xiao Zhan affirmed. Lei Wanqi understood Xiao Zhan's meaning and intervened, respected first brother, we are not allowed to take part in the investigation. Let Sister Lily handle this on her own. Jian Guizhi looked at Ying Lili and gave a tiny smile to her. I respect your decision, Crown Princess. Saying this, Jian Guizhi left from there followed by Nianzhu and Lei Wanqi. General Xiao, summon all the servants and guards of Zhenjuan, Ying Lili commanded Xiao Zhan, who bowed his head and went out of the chamber. Chapter 73 Hang to death. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The emperor was sitting on the chair beside the bed of the crown prince. The royal physician was treating the crown prince whose face had turned pale. He had used the acupuncture needles to take out the poison from the crown prince's body. Beside him, there was a nurse who was making a paste that had to be applied on the crown prince's throat and stomach. The royal physician was getting nervous as the pulse was getting weaker and weaker with time. Your Majesty, I think we shall search for its antidote as well. I think the method I am using is ineffective against this poison. Luckily, the crown prince has been taking the small quantity of the poison, so he is alive, the royal physician informed the emperor, whose heart sank upon hearing that. Han Wenji looked at Xing Fu, who was on the verge of crying. Call General Shao here, Han Wenji ordered. Xing Fu bowed his head and strode out of the room. He went towards the barracks to ask about General Shao. There he met Commander Tao, who told the soldiers to inform General Shao. Xing Fu went with those 3 soldiers to the interrogation house. There he found the crown princess and General Shao were questioning the palace servants. Seeing Xing Fu there, Ying Lili came towards him. How is the crown prince? She had tears in her eyes. Xing Fu refused. Your Highness, His Majesty has called for General Shao. Xing Fu passed the message. Xiao Zhan came to him. Let's go. Your Highness, please continue the interrogation, Xiao Zhan spoke politely. Ying Lili nodded. She quickly took out a pendant that she had worn on her neck. General Shao, this pendant was given by grandmother to ward off the surrounding evil. Make sure that the crown prince will wear it, Ying Lili requested as a teardrop rolled down her cheek. Xiao Zhan took the pendant from Ying Lili and left from there. She wiped a tear off her cheek and went back to the front. None of you see anyone going inside my resting chamber? Ying Lili asked all the palace servants in a stern expression. No one answered and had lowered their heads. I do not want you to stand mute. I want answers, Ying Lili shouted as she kept walking from the middle of the palace servants. She was noticing the body language of each of the servants there. Every one of you will be punished for not doing your duties. Commander Yang, take them away for the punishment, Ying Lili ordered when the servants came to their knees. We have done nothing, Your Highness. Please spare us, they said in unison. Your pleadings will not turn things right. None of you could see that someone has entered my chamber. How can you be so irresponsible? Ying Lili bellowed at them. Ying Lili came to the front again when Commander Yang came near to Yong Lili. Your Highness, this might be a work of a spy. The palace servants could not notice that, Commander Yang opined. Commander Tao too reached there with a small piece of the army. He bowed his head in front of the crown princess. The maidservant which had accompanied Her Highness in the morning is caught. Ying Lili smiled upon hearing those words. She was delighted because now she could prove her innocence. General Shao reached the resting chamber of the crown prince. Bowing his head in front of the emperor, General Shao spoke, Your Majesty, I am here. Han Wenji, whose eyes were fixated on Xingli, turned to look at Xiao Zhan. Interrogate the king of Juyan, Song Li Xiu, regarding the antidote of this poison. Bring the person who has the antidote. Ask the crown princess as well about this. She is from Juyan, so she must know this, Han Wenji ordered Xiao Zhan, who bowed his head. Your Majesty, the crown princess has sent this pendant for the crown prince. May I put it beside the crown prince's pillow? Xiao Zhan asked for permission. You may do that, Han Wenji permitted. Xiao Zhan went towards the bed on which the crown prince was lying. He was baffled to see the face of the crown prince, which had turned pale because of the deadly poison. Xiao Zhan placed the pendant beside the pillow and stepped back. I will find the antidote, Xiao Zhan assured the emperor and took his leave. He came to the punishment hall and saw the servants and guards were not there anymore. How is Xingli? Ying Lili asked Xiao Zhan. The crown prince is not in a pleasant state. Your Highness, do you know about the antidote of the poison? Xiao Zhan queried the crown princess. No. Father never told me about him, Ying Lili replied. She was looking as if she would break into tears any time. Xiao Zhan, without saying anything, walked out from there. He went to the prison where Song Li Xiu was tied to the chains. Seeing the general there, the prison keeper opened the lock. If you want to go alive from here, tell about the antidote and the person who has the antidote. Xiao Zhan demanded answers from Song Li Xiu, who was beaten up badly. The one who had the antidote has died last year. No one knows about the antidote anymore. Song Li Xiu spoke the words which the Prime Minister had told him. Don't lie, Xiao Zhan loudly said in a threatening tone as he took out a hot iron rod from the small furnace made there. He brought it to the front of Song Li Xiu's chest and was going to pierce him when Song Li Xiu spoke. Please believe me. He is already dead, so is the antidote. His name was Chou Mang So, who died a year ago. How can I trust you who killed his own brother for the throne? Xiao Zhan shouted, and the hot iron rod touched the skin of Song Li Xiu, who cried out in pain when Commander Tao came running there. General Xiao, the maidservant is telling that she gave the poison to the crown prince at the request of the crown princess, Tao Zedong informed Xiao Zhan, who handed the hot iron rod to the soldier standing beside him. Xiao Zhan walked out of the prison and went back to the punishment chamber. Why are you lying? Ying Lili questioned that maidservant. Xiao Zhan told the crown princess to step aside. Your entire family can get punished for lying to us. Just say the truth, Xiao Zhan said in exasperation. Your Highness, I am saying the truth. On the instructions of the crown princess, I have done this, the maidservant told, who was on her knees and was crying. The Prime Minister came there along with other court ministers who were being informed about that by a soldier. Your Highness, you said that you did not do this, but the witness has accepted the truth, Wei Zhangyong asserted. Respected Prime Minister, we shall call the emergency court meeting and report to His Majesty for the expeditious delivery of justice, requested the Justice and Law Minister, Shui Ming. General Xiao, please inform His Majesty to come to the court. The decision has to be taken now, requested the Prime Minister. Xiao Zhan could not help but agreeing with the Prime Minister as he was bound by his duty. Ying Lili was brought to the court by Commander Yang, along with the major witness. Han Wenji was seated on the dragon throne and asked about the emergency call to organize the court. Wei Zhangyong stood up from his seat and bowed his head. Your Majesty, this witness has accepted the truth that she mixed the poison in the custard on the instructions of the crown princess, Wei Zhangyong pronounced. Han Wenji looked at the maidservant. Is this true? The maid had lowered her eyes and was on her knees. Yes, Your Majesty. I did this on the instructions of the crown princess. She is lying, Your Majesty. Why would I ask to search for her if I had told her to mix the poison, Your Majesty? I would have killed her to clear the evidence against me, but I asked General Xiao to search for her. Ying Lili defended herself. Wei Zhangyong smiled and spoke, Your Majesty, the crown princess is known for her kindness. She could not have dared to kill her. But, the people of Han are loyal to it. That's why this maidservant, despite the danger, accepted the truth. I do not know why His Majesty is giving the chances to the crown princess when she is the one for the critical condition of the crown prince, Wei Zhangyong proclaimed as he lowered his head. The Justice and Law Minister also supported the Prime Minister along with the other court ministers. Crown Princess, I have given you the chance to prove your innocence. The witnesses say that it is done by you. The condition of Shengli is not good at all and I cannot be biased about doing justice. You will be uncrowned tomorrow morning and will be hanged to death along with your entire regal family of Juyan, Han Wenji announced the decision. Ying Lili fell on her knees. I did nothing, Your Majesty. Please believe me. Every evidence is against me because someone wants. Ying Lili could not complete her words as her voice choked. Take away the crown princess to the prison, Han Wenji commanded and walked out from there. Ing Lily was taken away from there to the prison. Before going to the prison, a maidservant helped Ing Lily in taking out the royal robes and made her wear the white dot-colored robes. The jewelry that Crown Princess was wearing was removed and then she was taken to prison by General Shao. Hello dear readers, on my Instagram, I have shared a character introduction video about Han Xingli and an Ing Lily. Do check it. My Instagram ID, RayoFlight_PCY. Thank you. Happy reading. Chapter 74. Punish Her Is Me. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. Ing Lily sat on the ground, which was covered with straw in the prison. Never once she had thought that she would end up like this. At least Xingli never treated her like this, but as soon as he got poisoned, her condition turned terrible. Xingli, please wake up. I will take this punishment because Juyan betrayed the Han Kingdom. You have to wake up and punish me as I lost to you, Xingli. My poor judgment endangered your life. You were right that this palace is far more dangerous than the battleground, Ing Lily thought in her mind as she placed her forehead on her arms, which were on her folded knees. There were tears in her eyes. But what could she do now? She recalled how Xingli came to her rescue when she was going to be punished by the Empress the other day. If she would have let Xingli kill her uncle that day, then this would not have happened. Tears were rolling down her eyes, not because she was going to be hanged the next day, but the innocent people who were from the Jian regal family would be hanged along with her. Still, there was a tiny hope inside her heart that Xingli would wake up. She wanted to see Xingli's face before dying and wanted to apologize to him for the wrong she had done to him. Your Highness, General Shao came inside the prison and bent on his knees. He had the glass of water in his hand as he forwarded that glass to Ing Lily. Please drink the water. The Crown Prince will get angry at me for not taking care of you in his absence, General Shao said in a low voice. Ing Lily lifted her head and looked into the eyes of Xiao Zhan. Why would he get angry? This is the punishment I deserve. He will be happy to see me like this. Do not worry about me, General Shao. Tell Xingli that I am guilty of trusting my uncle instead of him. I am apologetic that he had to suffer because of my silliness, Ing Lily plainly stated. The tone was filled with regret. L.C. Your Highness, the royal physician has told you that without the antidote the Crown Prince's survival chance is minimal, Xiao Zhan in a broken voice informed Ing Lily. You shall have faith in your Crown Prince. Nothing can happen to him until he will become the next emperor. He will wake up, Ing Lily affirmed with a faint smile on her lips. You shall leave, General Shao, Ing Lily proclaimed. Xiao Zhan put down the glass of water and stood up. He bowed his head and walked out of the prison. The bloody horrible night passed quickly. In the early morning, Ing Lily was brought to the hanging ground. She was weak and her eyes were swollen. The glow had left her face. She looked around to just get a glimpse of Xingli, but he was not there. Her eyes turned teary. She lifted her hands, which were tied to a shackle, and brought them near her eyes. Wiping the tears off her eyes, she put them down. Jian Guizhi came to the Crown Princess. Ying'er, I will talk with my father, Jian Guizhi pronounced. Ing Lily lowered her eyes. Brother Jian, thank you for your concern, Ing Lily stated. Yongjing came towards them and whispered something in his ear. Jian Guizhi tightened his fist and walked away from there. Ing Lily was told to get on her knees, which she did. Her head was lowered. She was still hoping that Xingli would come. After a while, the emperor came with the empress. They were standing on a high platform. The emperor is here, someone announced. Jian Guizhi, Yongjing, and Rong Zemin to some extent were feeling bad for the Crown Princess. Ing Lily lifted her head and looked towards the emperor. The Crown Princess is found guilty of poisoning the Crown Prince, so she will be uncrowned and later will be hanged to death, Han Wenji pronounced. Shuiyu Yan smiled upon hearing the decision of the emperor. Two maidservants came forward and removed the clips and hairpins from Ing Lily's head. She clutched her clothes as the hairpins were removed from her head. The crown was almost lifted from over Lily's head when they heard a loud voice. Stop! The voice was familiar, as it was of the crown prince. Lily was bewildered to hear his voice. She turned her head when she saw Xingli was coming towards her, followed by Lei Wanqi, Han Nianzu, and Gu Jinghua. Xingli's face was pale, but he seemed fine. Lily did not blink her eyes even for a second. The people there were shocked to see the crown prince. Xingli halted as he came to the left of Lily. The maidservant stepped back to see the crown prince. He gazed at Lily and knitted his brows. Son. Han Wenji was delighted to see Xingli. He descended the stairs, and the empress followed the emperor. The crown prince is completely fine, the prime minister delightedly stated. Xingli turned his gaze towards him and spoke, in my absence, you dared to hurt my crown princess. Xingli's gaze turned to his father who was coming towards him. Father, forgive me, but no one is allowed to decide the punishment for Lily, Xingli declared. Han Wenji halted at his place upon hearing the statement of his son. The prime minister stepped forward. Your Highness, the crown princess has schemed to kill you along with her family. That is why she is being punished. She will be hanged to the death for harming the crown prince, Wei Zhangyong said with a bowed head. Shut your mouth before I rip it apart. The only person who can punish her is me, Xingli loudly spoke. Lily was staring at the crown prince who was defending her. If you would not be the nation's prime minister, then I would have killed you right at this moment for saying such a thing for the crown princess, Xingli vehemently pronounced. Whoever planned to kill me. Xingli stopped as he turned his gaze to the empress and spoke. Failed to understand that he has made the biggest mistake of his life. Empress Wei was glaring at the crown prince. I would love to see how you will punish the culprit, son, Empress Wei proclaimed. Chapter 75. You disappointed me. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Xingli turned his gaze back to Lily who was staring at him for a long time. How dare you let yourself get into this state? Xingli demanded an answer from Lily. You are the wife of the crown prince whom everyone fears. Whoever did this to you, I will make sure to punish them most mercilessly. Xingli's voice roared. Your Highness, you are still favoring this woman who is from Juyan. She asked for the deadliest poison for you from her uncle. If you do not believe us, then you shall ask the king of Juyan. We cannot let such treacherous people live among us because she can kill any one of us, the law and justice minister proclaimed in exasperation. I do not believe anyone here except a few and be respectful towards the crown princess, Xingli's tone was threatening. I know you all ministers pressured the imperial father when I was in that state. Father, do not believe the king of Juyan. It was my mistake to let him stay alive, and all this happened. I request you to pass an order to not involve any minister in the investigation of my poisoning. I will find the culprit myself, Xingli pronounced as he brought his both hands ahead till the shoulder, joined them, and bowed his head. Gnav Om, I permit you. This order will be passed, Han Wenji announced. Indeed, the ministers were in a hurry in deciding so, the investigation shall be done carefully. The bureaucracy is important, that's why I needed to decide. Crown Prince, I will talk to you later, saying that Han Wenji walked away followed by the empress. Xingli put his hands down and turned to Lily. He bent on his knees, his right hand was on his right knee while the left knee was touching the ground. You disappointed me. I thought you were smart, but you proved me wrong, Xingli whispered and then got up from the ground. Release her and send her to the Zhenju Inn, Xingli ordered Xiao Zhan and walked away. Xiao Zhan bowed his head as the crown prince walked away followed by Han Nianzu and Lei Wanqi. The other princes too walked away from there. Shuiyu, Yan huffed seeing that the crown princess would not get punished. A soldier freed Lily's hands from the shackles, and she stood up from the ground. Hu Jinghua came to Lily. Crown princess, forgive me for being late, Hu Jinghua asserted. Ing Lily gave him a faint smile. Thank you for reaching here at the right time, Ing Lily expressed her gratitude. I did my duty, Your Highness. Luckily, I was not far away, else it would have been a problem, Hu Jingwa stated. Master gave me the antidote a year ago and even passed me his knowledge of this antidote, Hu Jingwa proclaimed. Ing Lily nodded, listening to him. Father told me about that, Ing Lily stated. Your Highness, do you not want the Crown Prince to know about this? He is misunderstanding you, Xiao Zhan intervened between the conversation of Ing Lily and Hu Jingwa. I will tell the Crown Prince myself. I am grateful to General Xiao as well for agreeing with my plan. Without your help, I could not help the Crown Prince, Ing Lily pronounced and gave a tiny smile to him. Ing Lily turned her gaze back at Hu Jingwa and looked at his face and hands. You are still not healed. Because of me, you had to suffer so much, Ing Lily asserted. Thanks to these injuries, I could not go beyond the borders. Prince Wanshi reached me in time, and the Crown Prince got the antidote, Hu Jingwa replied to Ing Lily. Your Highness, you shall take rest. You could not sleep last night. Xiao Zhan expressed his concern and turned to look at the two maidservants there. Take the Crown Princess safely, Xiao Zhan commanded them. They came forward and took the Crown Princess to Zhenjuin. Come with me, Hu Jingwa, General Xiao said, and they left from there. Once Ing Lily reached her chamber, she felt good. She sat on the bed when Court Lady Su came running inside. She stopped right in front of the Crown Princess and bowed her head. Your Highness, I was scared after hearing the judgment of His Majesty. I am so happy to see you safe. Court Lady Su had tears in her eyes as she was speaking to the Crown Princess. Thanks to the Crown Prince I am safe. Court Lady Su, prepare a hot bath for me. I want to have a relaxing bath. Ing Lily touched her shoulders. Yes, Your Highness, Court Lady Su bowing her head stepped backward and left the chamber. Never have I felt this scared in my life, which I faced last night. Luckily, the winds were with me, else things could have worsened, Ing Lily muttered and recalled what happened the previous night. Your Highness, if the Prime Minister had done this then he would have killed the maidservant by now. Why would he let her stay alive? Lei Wanshi questioned, and knitted his brows. Brother Wanshi, I had thought the same, but he will not do this. He will try to give me punishment before the Crown Prince will wake up. He will bring the maidservant in the court and make sure she will give the statement against me. That would be the most solid evidence against me and I cannot escape that. This is a game of chess where every pawn is being used against me, so I shall let my opponent think he is winning the game, Ing Lily with a smirk stated. Your Highness, we are not understanding what you are trying to do, but we will do whatever you will say, Han Nianzu showed support. I am getting what Her Highness is trying to say. The Prime Minister is treacherous and he will not leave a single point of escape for the Crown Princess, Xiao Zhan opined. Ing Lily nodded and further opened her mouth to speak. Now, the most important thing. The antidote. If my uncle is with them, then I think they have killed the master as well. But there is one person who knows about the antidote, Ing Lily stated. The two princes looked at each other. Who? Xiao Zhan amusingly asked. My childhood friend, Hu Jingwa, Ing Lily answered with a smile. They all were shocked to learn that. Your Highness, if you would have told about this earlier then you would not have been punished and accused like this, Lei Wanshi affirmed. Ing Lily smiled upon hearing the words of Lei Wanshi. Brother Wanshi, such things cannot be told openly. If I had told this there, the Prime Minister would harm Hu Jingwa and I cannot take that risk. Furthermore, the Prime Minister will come up with some convincing arguments against me. I cannot risk the lives of 3 people, Ing Lily stated. But Sister Lily, there is risk associated with this. This is about the life of the Crown Prince, Ing Lily completed the words of Lei Wanshi. I can take the risk for my life because I know only Shengli can save me from whatever punishment is waiting for me ahead. Make sure to bring Hu Jingwa safely and soundly to the palace. Xingli told me yesterday that Hu Jinghua had crossed the capital borders, which are not that far. No one shall know about this plan, not even His Majesty. Now, we will go with whatever the Prime Minister has planned for me, Ying Lili pronounced. Your Highness, I know about Hu Jinghua's whereabouts. He is at the guest house, which is on the border. He will travel from there in the morning, Xiao Zhan informed the Crown Princess. Brother Nianzu will go there and bring him here, Lei Wanqi asserted and smiled when they all heard the sounds of boots. Immediately, General Xiao changed the topic and spoke. Your Highness, someone secretly went to your resting chamber as well to put the tiny bottle of poison there. Let's search for that as well. I am looking into that, General Xiao. They were surprised to hear the voice of Jian Guizhi. Ying Lili smiled as she came out of her thoughts. Chapter 76. As that one woman in your life. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. Ying Lili, after taking a relaxing bath, came to her chamber to dress up. She looked at herself in the mirror when she saw Xing Li's face in front of her. He seemed angry. I have to apologize to him, Ying Lili thought and called Court Lady Su who came to the front. Court Lady Su, I would like to have my breakfast with the Crown Prince. Yes, Your Highness. May I say something, Your Highness? Court Lady Su politely asked for permission. You may ask, Ying Lili permitted Court Lady Su. Your Highness, I request you not start any arguments with the Crown Prince. You might have seen how you were accused of having an unhealthy relationship with His Highness. I said this because I am concerned about you, Your Highness, Court Lady Su stated with a worried expression. The hairdresser had set the hair of the Crown Princess and also the crown over her head. Ying Lili stood up as she was ready. She was wearing a salmon-pink-colored hanfu dress with a red overcoat. Court Lady Su, I understood this last night, asserted Ying Lili with a smile. We shall leave for the Crown Prince Manor, Ying Lili proclaimed. Court Lady Su bowed her head and followed her mistress along with a few maidservants. As Ying Lili reached there, she asked eunuch Xing Fu about the Crown Prince. Your Highness, the Crown Prince is having a conversation with the 4th and 6th Prince, Xing Fu answered. Ying Lili nodded when Xing Fu spoke, I will tell His Highness about your visit. Xing Fu stepped ahead, opened the door, and walked in. After a minute, Xing Fu came outside. Her Highness can go inside, Xing Fu informed the Crown Princess who walked inside the resting chamber of the Crown Prince. Ying Lili kept walking until she reached the entrance to the bed chamber. She looked at Xingli who was not looking at her. Nianzu and Lei Wanqi had stood up from their respective seats. They bowed their heads. Your Highness, good to see you again. We shall take our leave, Lei Wanqi with a smile spoke and looked at Nianzu. They both then walked out from there. Once they left, Ying Lili came towards Xingli, who was lying on the bed, and sat beside him. There was complete silence between the two for a few minutes. The silence between them was broken as Xing Fu walked along with 2 maidservants who had brought the morning meals for the Crown Prince and the Crown Princess. They put it on the table near the bed, bowed their heads, and left. Xingli sat up on the bed and got down from it. He ignored Ying Lili's presence and went towards the table. Ying Lili turned and saw he had pulled a chair for himself. Xing Fu gestured to a maid to taste the food who did so. The food is okay, the maid replied softly. Xing Fu left the chamber along with the maid. Ying Lili came towards Xingli and pulled out a chair. She sat on it, dragging it closer to Xingli's while peering at him who started eating. Xingli, forgive me, Ying Lili softly spoke as she joined both hands. Xingli did not reply to her. He was focused on eating when Ying Lili grabbed his hand. Are you angry at me? Ying Lili questioned. Xingli pulled his hand back. Thanks to you, I almost died. Ying Lili could feel that Xingli was displeased with her. Xingli, forgive me. I will do anything you will tell me to, Ying Lili stated, trying to pacify Xingli. Did you forget what I told you when you asked me to spare the life of your uncle? Xingli queried Ing Lily, who hummed, giving her response. Answer, Xingli spoke in exasperation. That you will kill me if he betrays us, Ing Lily replied. Are you ready to die? Xingli asked as he finally turned his gaze at Ing Lily, who was staring at him. If you had wanted to kill me, then you would have done that by now. Ing Lily looked for an answer from Xingli, whose lips quirked up into a smile. You saved me, so I cannot kill my savior, Xingli pronounced. But it does not mean that I am going to forgive you, Xingli further added. Ing Lily was baffled to know that Xingli found out she was the one who knew about the antidote. Did the brothers tell you? Ing Lily asked. Xingli shook his head in refusal. You are from Juyan, so it is crystal clear that you would have known about the antidote, Xingli deduced. Jinghua told me about the antidote when he started learning from the medical expert of Juyan, Ing Lily stated. Do you know why I am disappointed in you? Xingli questioned Ing Lily. Because I cannot save myself there, Ing Lily replied. Xingli chuckled upon hearing the answer of Ing Lily. No, that is not the reason. You are not smart enough because despite my hints you left the tray in the hands of the other person, Xingli answered. This would not have happened if you had paid heed to my hints, the Crown Prince added. I know. But after that, I made sure not to get you hurt. Xingli, thank you for saving me. Last night was a horrible one. In just seconds, I had been accused of poisoning you. I was helpless when the Prime Minister was showing the evidence against me, but then I recalled your words about how you told me why you did not kill me at our first meeting. I recalled your warnings. Xingli, forgive me for misunderstanding you, forgive me for not listening to you and questioning your decisions. From today onward, I am not your enemy but a. Ing Lily stopped speaking as she felt the intense gaze of Xingli at her, still she completed her words. But a friend. I am with you and will eliminate all of your enemies. Ing Lily was smiling brightly as she was now feeling good after telling everything to Xingli. Xingli snickered as he put the chopsticks on the plate. Lily, I do not forgive people easily and I do not consider you my friend. You are changing your perception of me. What if I saved you for my motives? Xingli questioned Ing Lily. Then use me for your motives. I will not disappoint you and willingly help you. If you do not want to consider me as a friend, then do you want to consider me as that one woman in your life who will be like you in every aspect? Ing Lily's question astonished Xingli as a smirk appeared on his lips. Chapter 77. Let's sleep together from now on. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 77. Let's sleep together from now on. Xingli did not say anything for a few seconds and looked over at Ing Lily's face. You told me you will never fall for this cruel man, but you seem to be so much in love with me. Your thoughts changed for me in just a night, Xingli pronounced. Ing Lily shook her head. I did not fall for you. I just want to support the Crown Prince, Ing Lily affirmed. Can you prove to me you can be a woman of my choice? Xingli questioned Ing Lily and placed his index finger under her chin. Ing Lily blinked her eyes and nodded. Xingli smiled and pulled his hand back and in just seconds the smile on his face disappeared. He knitted his brows and spoke, kill your uncle first, followed by the people who accompanied him for the feast. Ing Lily gulped. Xingli, there might be some innocents among them, Ing Lily opined with a concerned expression. Then they have to sacrifice their lives for a good cause. I will investigate them first and then you have to kill them on my orders. The rest I will tell you later, but trust me, you are going to step back seeing my mercilessness, Xingli proclaimed. I will not. This is a war ground where one has to be careful every time because the enemies are hidden, Ing Lily asserted. Xingli picked the chopsticks again and told Ing Lily that she should eat. As they were eating, Xingli queried, who do you think planned all this? The Prime Minister, replied Ing Lily. Xingli put the dumpling inside his mouth and chewed it. The crown prince shook his head in refusal, and after swallowing the chewed food down his throat, he spoke, "The Empress." Lily's eyes widened upon hearing that. She was bewildered and at the same time, infuriated because she had never thought a mother could do this. Indeed, Prince Nianzhu had told her that the Empress was not good to Xingli from his childhood days, but she had never thought that she could stoop so low. Lily was left with no words. She could not find what she should tell Xingli in that situation. She found Xingli's face had sadness and at the same time it was filled with anger. She didn't say anything and continued eating. Once they were finished taking their morning meals, Xingli went back to bed, as he was still feeling low. The maidservants cleaned the table while Lily sat on the wooden bamboo stool beside Xingli's bed. "Your Highness, please give this medicine to the Crown Prince," Xing Fu stated as he handed a tray over, which a bowl was placed in her hand. Lily picked the bowl and sat up on the bed. "Here, drink this," Lily said. Xing Fu placed the tray on the table before leaving. Xingli grabbed the porcelain bowl from Lily and then drank it. Lily took the bowl and put it over the table. She took out a handkerchief from inside her long sleeve and wiped the lips of Xingli, who grabbed her wrist. "I can do it myself," Xingli stated when Lily slapped his hand lightly. Lily pulled back her hand once she was done when Xingli spoke. "Aren't you tired?" "Ha! Aren't you tired?" Xingli repeated his question. "You were in prison last night and could not sleep." "Let's sleep together," Xingli asserted. Lily blinked her eyes and almost stood up from the bed when Xingli swiftly pinned her on the bed. "They all think that we do not have a cordial relationship, but we can prove it wrong by sleeping together from today onwards," Xingli offered, keeping a grin on his lips. "We will have to follow a rule while we sleep together." "You cannot do anything to me," Lily proclaimed, which made Xingli laugh. Controlling his laughter, Xingli traced Lily's jawline. "If I were to do anything, wouldn't it have happened already? And, what if you throw yourself at me?" He waited for Lily's reply. I mean that." "I will take it as a yes," Xingli stated and leaned back. He took out Lily's shoes and told her to rest comfortably. "Is it that important to sleep together now?" Lily was inquisitive. Xingli nodded. "It is necessary. If we will not sleep together, I will be pressured to have a consort or a concubine. My compatibility with other women is not that good as it is with you. Moreover, I want to keep my promise of having only one woman in my life." Lily was touched by the words of Xingli, but she did not let them show in her face. She quickly moved back to the bed and turned her back towards the Crown Prince. Xingli smiled, seeing the reactions of Lily. "Do you want to sleep with this heavy overcoat, crown, and hair accessories?" Xingli asked the Crown Princess, who turned to look at him. "What do you mean?" "I mean what I said earlier," Xingli replied. "Remove your overcoat, crown, and unnecessary hair accessories you have worn," Xingli repeated himself. "Or shall I help you?" Xingli asked in a teasing tone. Lily did not reply and pretended she did not hear him. She sat up on the bed and removed the pins from her head. "At this rate, we will sleep tomorrow, I think," Xingli commented. He moved slightly towards Lily and grabbed her hands, which were behind her head. She peered at Xingli, whose face was so close that she could feel his breath. Xingli removed the hairpins quickly and gold buyao, it has flowering branches with dangling beads, followed by the crown. Xingli put them on the empty table beside the bed and then turned back to Lily. "What are you looking at?" "Remove your overcoat too," Xingli ordered as he pulled up the blanket. Lily took off the overcoat and placed it beside her towards the wall. She laid down, facing the wall when she felt the blanket placed over her. Her heart was beating strangely, but not because of the nervousness. She did not know that indescribable feeling which was developing in her heart. Chapter 78. Lost His Mind. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The Empress could be seen in her resting room on a chaise. Wei Zhongyong was standing a meter away from the empress with a bowed head. Why did you not kill that maidservant? And, how could you not see what the crown princess was planning? Did you see how Xingli was glaring at me? He has the same eyes as his mother. Empress Wei was furious as she threw the cup in her hand, which broke into pieces. Your Majesty, forgive me. I did not have any idea that the crown princess has a friend who knows the antidote, Wei Zhongyong asserted. I do not need your apologies. Do you even know how much risk I took to plan all this? I had given you only one simple task to punish the crown princess before Xingli would awake, but you failed in that too. And, I even told you to kill the maidservant who mixed the poison in that bowl. But, you did the opposite, Empress Wei bellowed at the Prime Minister who got on his knees. Please forgive me, Your Majesty. I thought if she was summoned and gave a statement against the crown princess then it would be easier to punish her, Wei Zhongyong pleaded. Shut up. I ordered you to kill her for a reason. Now, kill all the witnesses. Xingli knows I am behind all this and I do not want him to get even a single clue regarding me, Empress Wei ordered the Prime Minister. Your Majesty, they all were taken to the prison. His Majesty has given permission to the Crown Prince to look into it. I have made sure that they would not open their mouths, Wei Zhongyong assured Empress Wei. Poison them, Empress Wei stated. I do not know how you will do this but poison them. The King of Juyan will definitely tell about us once Xingli will investigate him, Empress Wei proclaimed. Wei Zhongyong bowed down as his forehead touched the ground. Your Majesty, I will do this work. The Crown Prince cannot find any evidence against us, the Prime Minister reassured Empress Wei. You may leave, Wen Wei stated. Wei Zhongyong stood up from the floor mat and left from there. Bring the chrysanthemum tea for me, Wen Wei ordered the court lady who was standing beside the chaise. Prince Jian wants to meet the Empress, a maidservant came in and informed Wen Wei. Let the prince come in, Wen Wei stated. The maidservant bowed and stepped back. After a minute, Jian Guizhi came inside with an infuriated expression that confused the Empress. What happened to my son? Wen Wei worriedly asked. Jian Guizhi greeted the Empress first. Mother, why is Xingli still alive? That Prime Minister has lost his mind. He accused the Crown Princess. She was almost hanged to death, Jian Guizhi blurted out. Wen Wei noticed her son was still attracted towards Ying Lili. Son, the Crown Princess is on Xingli's side. Do not be concerned about her. She is the one who saved the Crown Prince. You would have the crown by now but thanks to the Crown Princess it has slipped from our hands again, Wen Wei explained to Jian Guizhi. Ying'er saved Xingli. But how? Jian Guizhi asked his mother. His Majesty was told by eunuch Xing Fu that the Crown Princess knew about the antidote. She lied to everyone yesterday about the antidote so that no one could kill the person who brought the antidote for Xingli, Wen Wei told her son. Jian Guizhi clenched his fist tightly and without saying anything left in anger. Wen Wei chuckled. He has lost his mind for a mere woman. I have to do something before he acts on his own and gets trapped in this prince position forever, Wen Wei muttered and clutched the cushion on which she had rested her one arm. The soldiers were checking the resting rooms of the guests who were invited for the feast on the birthday of the Crown Prince. Lei Wanqi went specifically to the room of the woman whom he had suspected since the time he had seen her the other day. Seeing the prince there, the young woman stood up from the chair and bowed her head. She lifted her head and saw two soldiers were standing behind Lei Wanqi. How may I help you, Your Highness? The young woman politely spoke. Lei Wanqi smiled slightly and closed the fan in his hand. He put his hands behind his back. We are going to search your belongings, young miss. If you do not have any problem then can we start? Lei Wanqi asked for permission. Before that may I know the name of this young miss? Lei Wanqi asked with a raised brow. I am Wu Qinyang, the daughter of the governor of the East Province. Qinyang means sunshine of my heart. You have a pleasant name, Miss Wu Qinyang, Lei Wanshi complimented Wu Qinyang and gestured to the soldiers to search. Wu Province started a war against the Han Kingdom. Am I right, Miss Wu? Lei Wanshi asked as he tried reading the facial expressions on her face. Wu Qinyang peered at Lei Wanshi and spoke. You are right, Your Highness. I lost my 2 brothers and many other people close to me. Wu Qinyang truthfully told Lei Wanshi, who found out why she was angry earlier. Can she be suspected? Lei Wanshi thought. What are your views on Han now, Miss Wu? Lei Wanshi looked for an answer. The checking was done by then. Your Highness, there is nothing suspicious here, one soldier informed Lei Wanshi, who gave a nod. Thank you for your cooperation, young miss, Lei Wanshi said as he walked out of the room followed by the 2 soldiers. He opened his fan and moved it below his chin. She has anger inside her for us. Brother Li has many enemies. At this rate, he will be in more danger. I have to do something, Lei Wanshi thought in his mind. He told the soldiers to follow him to the other rooms. As he was walking through the corridor, something came to his mind. He halted at his place. I am coming in a while, Lei Wanshi asserted and turned back to the room where Wu Qinyang was staying. Chapter 79. A Deal. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Wu Qinyang was looking out from the window. Deep frowns could be seen on her forehead as she was thinking about something when she heard the opening of the door. She immediately hid the tiny porcelain bottle inside her long narrow sleeves and turned to look at who came in. She lowered her eyes as she saw Lei Wanshi. Forgive me for barging in suddenly, but I forgot something to check, Lei Wanshi asserted. Wu Qinyang gulped in nervousness. Did he find out? Wu Qinyang thought when she saw Lei Wanshi seated around the table on a chair. This confused Wu Qinyang when Lei Wanshi gestured her to take a sit. Wu Qinyang pulled out a chair for herself and sat on it. Miss Wu, I learned earlier from your respected father that you have exceptional acupuncture skills and you are also good at medicine, Lei Wanshi asserted. Yes, Your Highness, Wu Qinyang replied. Lei Wanshi stood up from the chair and opened his fan. He went towards the door and closed it from inside, which panicked Wu Qinyang, but she did not let it show on her face. It was calm as an ocean. Lei Wanshi walked towards Wu Qinyang, his left hand was behind his back while using his right hand he was moving the fan slowly. He stopped right behind the chair on which Wu Qinyang was sitting. She pressed her fingers against each other when Lei Wanshi closed his fan. Wu Qinyang did not get intimidated and kept her cool. Lei Wanshi bent slightly, his face came closer to the left face of Wu Qinyang's and he grabbed both her hands with his left hand. Wu Qinyang tilted her head slightly to peer at Lei Wanshi who was not smiling any longer. Miss Wu, I have the eyes of eagle. Even though I am not good at military tactics, I can see through a person really quickly, Wu Qinyang heard Lei Wanshi as he took out the white porcelain bottle from inside the left sleeve of Wu Qinyang's dress. He was going to stand straight when Wu Qinyang directed her fist towards the prince. Lei Wanshi quickly dropped the fan in his right hand and grabbed Wu Qinyang's fist. They both glared at each other when Wu Qinyang used her other hand and hit Lei Wanshi's chest that was pushed back. Wu Qinyang curled her lips up. She was going to drink the poison from the ring she was wearing when Lei Wanshi grabbed her hand. You are not the daughter of the governor of Wu. How dare you fool us and attempt to assassinate the crown prince? Lei Wanshi asked angrily. Wu Qinyang kicked Lei Wanshi's leg and he lost his grip on her. He fell on the floor. Wu Qinyang took the opportunity to drink the poison when Lei Wanshi grabbed the fan swiftly and threw it towards Wu Qinyang. It hit her hand, and taking that chance Lei Wanshi quickly got a hold of her. Lei Wanshi pinned Wu Qinyang against the table who tried to get released from his grip. There is no use struggling. Why did you do this? Indeed, there are many guests here but how dare you take the fake identity of a person who is already dead? Not only this, you poisoned the crown prince. Tell me who gave you the orders to do this. Lei Wanshi had a stern expression on his face. I did not poison the crown prince, Wu Qinyang affirmed. Hearing that, Lei Wanshi got angry. Do not fool with me. Do you know what will happen if I take you to the crown prince? Lei Wanshi questioned her. She seemed not to be scared at all by him. I will be dead. One day or the other I have to die, so be it today, Wu Qinyang replied with a stern look. Young lady, being brave is good but not at the time when death is in front of you. The death of a traitor is difficult. Do you want a bloodbath in Wu province? Lei Wanshi asked. Tell me on whose orders you are doing this. Lei Wanshi questioned, tightening his grip on Wu Qinyang's hands, which were behind her back. I did not poison the crown prince. If the prince does not believe me, then he can check that bottle. It is not poison that was to be fed to the crown prince, Wu Qinyang proclaimed. Lei Wanshi slightly laughed upon hearing that. Then, may I ask what is that? Lei Wanshi raised his one brow. I cannot tell, Wu Qinyang replied. Young lady, this stubbornness does not suit you well. It seems you want to go to the punishment house, Lei Wanshi said in a threatening tone. And, if it is not poison, then why did you try to kill yourself by taking the poison from your ring? Lei Wanshi asked her. I am the adopted daughter of the governor of Wu. I wanted to take revenge for my two brothers' death from the crown prince by feeding him that drug so that his highness could be paralyzed. Wu Qinyang accepted her crime. Lei Wanshi knitted his brows when Wu Qinyang further spoke. Punish me for the crime I was going to do. I stopped because of my father. He gave me the name of his late daughter who died 2 years ago, and my two brothers died last year thanks to the ruthless crown prince of the Han Kingdom. You told me the truth so easily. You were going to do something foolish which could have caused the death of the governor of Wu province, Lei Wanshi asserted and observed the expression on Wu Qinyang's face. Wu Qinyang by then had lowered her eyes. I had planned to do that, but then I stopped myself because revenge is not the answer every time, Wu Qinyang proclaimed. Lei Wanshi smiled a bit and said, Miss Wu, I apologize for your loss, but you know your father had started the war against Han, and in a war the deaths are inevitable. One side loses but the bloodbaths happen on both sides. Even I lost my two dear friends who were killed mercilessly by your brothers. It does not mean I will plan to kill the governor of Wu and the people, because that would only increase resentment on both sides. Wu province is a part of Han, and now its people are the people of Han as well. The past has gone and we should work for a better future. Wu Qinyang was dumbfounded to hear such words from a prince. Lei Wanshi released the hands of Wu Qinyang and took out the ring from her index finger, which had poison inside it. If you had died by taking this poison, then your father would have been in danger along with the entire Wu province. You shall thank me that I saved you, Lei Wanshi stated with a cheerful smile which confused Wu Qinyang. Will I not be punished? I did wrong by. Let's make a deal, Miss Wu, Lei Wanshi cut the words of Wu Qinyang in the middle. I will not tell this incident to anyone, but instead, I need something from you. Not you, you are not the type of woman I desire. Lei Wanshi offered a deal to Wu Qinyang and waited for her response. Chapter 80. Love is a weakness rather than a strength. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Xingli was awoken when his eyes fell on Ying Lily, who was sleeping beside him, but this time she was not facing the wall but him. For a few seconds, Xingli stared at her face. Xingli brought his hand closer to Ying Lily's face. He touched those long eyelashes with his index finger, and a tiny smile formed on his lips. Without disturbing Ying Lily's sleep, Xingli went towards the left side of the resting chamber. He opened the drawer of the table and brought out a brush. Looking at the brush, he smirked again. He dipped the brush in the ink and came towards the bed. Wild cat, you are going to like this, Xingli muttered as he sat on the bed quietly. Cautiously and quietly, the crown prince moved the brush over the face of Ying Lily. Sometimes, Ing Lily was flinching because of the touch of the brush, but because she was tired, she could not awake from that touch. Once Xingli was done, he put the brush back to its place. I am good at artwork, Xingli proudly said as he looked at Ing Lily's face. He puckered his lips together to stop his laughter and quickly left the chamber. Xing Fu, who was standing outside the door, bowed his head as soon as he saw the crown prince. Your Highness, did you sleep well? Xing Fu asked politely. Xingli was tying the knot of his upper body garment hummed at Xing Fu. What time is it? Xingli questioned as he put his hands down. It is past afternoon, Your Highness. Xing Fu turned to a maid there. Prepare the bath for His Highness, he ordered and turned back to the crown prince. Let the crown princess sleep. After the bath, I will meet my father, and after that, I will leave for the prison to look into the matter. Xingli told eunuch Xing Fu. He bowed his head and said, I will inform His Majesty about your visit, Your Highness. Xingli nodded as he went towards the bathhouse, followed by a chain of maidservants behind him. In the bathhouse, the crown prince sent the maidservants out and got into that enormous bathtub which was filled with roses, and the fragrance was added to the water. He took 3 dips in the water and flipped his long hair back. He came to the rim and rested himself comfortably there. Resting his arms on the tiled platform, Xingli tilted his head back. Your half-brother will be my target, Empress Wei. He will be removed from his position of which he is so proud of before I will leave for the southern province. Let's see how Lily will help me in this, Xingli internally thought when the door of the bathhouse was opened. Xing Fu had come in with a bathrobe in his hands. He waited for the crown prince to come out and stood there silently. 15 minutes later, Xingli stretched his right hand out. Xing Fu quickly placed the bathrobe in the palm of the crown prince, who stood up and wore it. As Xingli came out of the bathtub, Xing Fu wiped the crown prince's body using a towel. He then helped the crown prince in putting on the garments of the Hanfu dress. Xingli came to his dressing room, and was being dressed up by the maidservants. Do not follow me. Go to my resting chamber, Xingli ordered Xing Fu and left to meet his father. Xingli reached the chamber of virtue and saw his father was drinking tea. Seeing Xingli, Han Wenji smiled and stood up from his seat. Han Wenji came to Xingli, who bowed his head in front of him when he tightly hugged him. You scared me, Han Wenji asserted. Xingli placed his hand on his father's back. Forgive me, Xingli whispered. Both father and son pulled away from each other. Taking their respective seats, Han Wenji asked the crown prince if he was feeling good. The king of Juyan betrayed us, but a commoner of Juyan saved you, Han Wenji proclaimed. Xingli agreed with his father. The crown prince is changing. Xingli knitted his brows after hearing that statement from his father. On the crown princess' request, the crown prince spared the life of Hu Jingguo. It is pleasant to see that the crown prince is turning gentle, Han Wenji remarked. Because I found he is good at medicine. I thought that he may prove useful to me later, and he did, Xingli asserted. You do not trust people easily, especially the outsiders. Accept that you did it for the crown princess, Han Wenji told his son as he noticed the reactions of his son. Father, that can be one reason. I found that the crown princess will not betray me, so I let her friend live. But, the major reason behind sparing was only that, Xingli stressed. Father, thank you for not letting me marry Xueyu, Yan. Xingli's sudden acknowledgement towards His Majesty's decision bewildered the emperor. Why is the crown prince suddenly thanking me? Han Wenji wanted to know the feelings which had developed inside Xingli's heart. I just want to thank you, father. I think that Ing Lily is suitable for me. The way she handled everything yesterday made me realize that she is most suitable for the crown princess position. She risked her life to save me, which is appreciable. She had the best chance yesterday to take her revenge on me. I have made many enemies and all of them want me to die. I thought Ing Lily was one of them, but she proved me wrong, Xingli answered his father in brief. Han Wenji faintly smiled as he picked the teacup. Did the crown prince say the same words to his crown princess? Han Wenji queried. Sheng Li shook his head. I do not want her to take it the other way, Sheng Li earnestly spoke. What I mean is that I do not want her to love me. Love is a weakness rather than a strength, Sheng Li affirmed. Hello dear readers. Sorry for this late update. Actually, I got some discouraging comments which made me feel low the entire day. I agree that my writing skills aren't that refined, but I'm trying my best daily to improve it. Since, I am not earning so good amount from any of my stories, so I cannot to hire a content editor for my work for now. I know many of you are paying for the chapters and still not getting that good content, so I would like to apologize for that as well. Thank you. Happy reading.